Welcome to the Kunes Collective Podcast. Marcos here, and I'm with my co-host Sandy. Sandy, beautiful day today.
Yeah.
Hey, I have a question for you. We talk a lot about, as salespeople, we talk about how awesome we are.
Naturally.
But there's a lot of moving pieces at the dealership.
Yes.
What's as far as just in your average car dealership, what do you think a department or individual, like give me an unsung hero of the automotive dealership?
I would say the office staff.
Oh, really?
The office staff, yes.
All they do is yell at you.
Well, that they do. Well, because we bug them a lot, though, too.
Oh, really?
So our office manager, Yessie, and Izzy, they're the two office girls up there. I would say they're the unsung heroes. They deal with a lot. They do all the processing, all the paperwork for all the deals, all the DMV stuff, and that's just for the sales part. They're also doing payroll and everything for service and parts and everything like that. So, and then you got to think we're bugging them 100 times a day, walking in there asking for like, hey, where's my commission slip? Or do you have this? Do you have this? Do you have this?
Right.
Do you have the second key for this car? So, you know, they're trying to do their work and they're getting bugged all the time by us, but they do an awesome job. They file all the deals, and there's a lot of moving pieces that goes on in the office. And I think sometimes they're overlooked, but you guys are the heroes. So,
well, yeah, no, that's a good one. I mean, it is I just from back in my inventory days, we had hold titles as a problem.
Yeah.
Which essentially, like, you can't sell a car until you have a title for it.
Mm-hmm.
So I know the offices deal with that a lot.
Yeah.
So like tracking down the titles before we can even, as a salesperson, sell a car.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure that's a huge pain in the butt that they have to do day in, day out.
A lot of grief.
All right, so salespeople, every day unsung hero, self-proclaimed unsung heroes, and then salespeople nominate the office staff as unsung. This week's unsung hero at the car dealership.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Hey, so I got a couple talking points here. One that kind of caught me by surprise, just because I was kind of just looking at stuff that was out there, stuff people are talking about that wasn't on my radar, was the normal reoccurrence of the 96-month car loan. So when I saw that, what was your first impression when I said that?
I don't see it a lot, but I do hear of it. I have a few customers that go through Navy Federal.
Sure.
And they're very famous for doing 96-month loans, which I think is nuts. Is that 8 years?
Right. So just for the people, and I don't know, we'll have to fact check on that. I'm bad at math like that off the top of my head. But
8 years.
We're in the Midwest. For those that don't know, we're in Wisconsin right now. So in the Midwest, I think 84 months was about, as far as what I normally saw go through what the people were getting.
Yeah. So they call it max term.
Yeah, 84 months. Yeah, whenever someone said max term, 84 months was what I was thinking about in my head. But now it's like, wow, when I saw that 96 is starting to be the new norm. That's crazy. So if you're on one of the coasts or somewhere where that's a normal thing, that might not be a surprise for you to hear that. But for a lot of people, it might be surprising to hear that you have 96-month car loan.
It's dangerous, I think with younger kids.
Let's talk about that. What's a couple reasons it's dangerous?
So like the customers that I've had that have gone through Navy Federal, they've been in the mid 20-year-old range, and it was always on a Scat Pack or an RT Charger or Challenger, and they're obviously being with Navy Federal. Most of the time they're our prior or current military, and those banks will like those customers because they're going to shove them into this car. They're chasing a payment,
Yep.
They like the flashy car, and they say we can get you a $400 payment, but you're going to stretch it out 8 years.
So I pulled out my phone just to check. So it is 8 years, and it is nuts. So if you're 24, right, and you take out an 8-month or an 8-year car loan, now you have made a commitment that is now 33% of your life.
Yeah.
Your current life. By the time it's completed, you will have had that loan 25% of your life.
Well, naturally, they're trading out of it well before that. Then when you run
that's
into
the goal.
But then when the problem you run into with these long-term loans, and there's a give and take. You sometimes it's just due to math. You have to stretch out the loan to get a certain payment goal, because maybe not everybody has 10-15 grand to put down to get to a payment. So the only way to do that is either switch to a different car, or if you have to have that specific car, then you have to stretch out the term, right? And that's what brings down the payment. But you got to be tricky with that, because then it's important to have an affordable payment. We understand that, but don't chase a payment because, bless you, because that's got to make sense to you. You don't want to be committing yourself for 8 years because in 3 or 4 years you want to trade out of that. It's going to be tricky.
Well, and here's an interesting thing, because like I think we've both been on both sides of it, right? We've both been a consumer buying a vehicle. Yeah. We've both been a salesperson selling a vehicle, and a lot of the blame on this, I'm sure, will get put on the car dealerships. It won't be on the bank for doing these loans, and it won't be on the customer for wanting the loan. It'll be the car dealership for presenting it, right? But out of the last 100 customers, Sandy, can you tell me, did you present right off the bat? Did you suggest longest term?
No.
Right off the bat. What is your day-to-day practice?
Well,
like,
I mean,
as a salesperson, what numbers do you show your customers?
So every
first?
store is going to be different. Every sales manager is going to structure their deals differently. But typically, how we do it at our store is, and I think it's smart. When we show numbers, we're going to show the longest term we'll show initially is 60 months.
Okay.
Because, and there's a reason why.
Why is that?
Because sometimes there's a lot of variables, but with credit and everything like that, some people may not qualify for 72 or 84 months.
Oh, sure.
So if you show them an 84-month term to show them the lowest payment, we'll get you here. And then you do a credit app and everything like that. And you go, oh, sorry, they cut it back to 72 months, so now the payment just went back up. So, we'll always say, hey, does that payment work? And for the most part, a lot of times, that in that 60-month range. Or we'll say, hey, there might be, it's all you word it, You'd say, hey, there might be an option to go 72 months or 75 or maybe 84 to help do that, and then we'll cross that bridge when we get to it,
Well, and now that we're talking about it, it's a lot easier for the customer that took out a 60-month loan to trade in 3 years than the customer that took out a 96-month loan. I mean,
generally that 96-month loan is going to have a higher interest rate too.
Sure. So is that kind of how it goes? The longer the interest rate, or the longer the term?
Yeah, rate? I mean, typically, generally speaking, this is a very general remark, but 60 to 72 months, the rate doesn't change that much. But when you're going from like 60 to 84 or 60 to 96, there's going to be a noticeable rate change.
All right, so I guess we don't see too many of them yet around here, but I'm sure they'll make their way. And
I don't want to see it. Because it's gonna be you'll never see that customer again.
No,
only because that's
a good point.
They're gonna stay in there for the long haul, but it's gonna be harder to trade them out. And if you're trying to chase a payment, if you're on a new car, maybe bring up a lease, like I've said before.
Hot take. Yeah. If you are looking at a 96-month car loan, you should probably actually be looking at a lease.
You should. And
even if it's more, even if it's $50 more a month.
And a lot of times, especially like when we're showing numbers on a new car, and if we already know that they want to finance, we'll show them a lease option too, side by side.
Sure.
We'll just do it. Just like, hey, just so you know, I'll show you. That way we have all your options in front of you.
Yeah.
Because sometimes if it's a $200 less payment, they're going to go, oh, well, then they start asking questions about leasing. Well, then you talk about it and deliver it right. Then they may go, well, let me do that instead. So if you're chasing a payment, which we all do, it's important. Payment's important. I understand it. But look at all your options available to you.
Whether you're on a $100 a month budget or $1 million budget, right? That's the old saying. All right. Do you have anything to add on the 96-month loan?
I'm not a fan of it. Don't do it. If you don't have to, if you're looking at 96, obviously you're chasing a lower payment. Take a time out, rethink what you're looking at. Everybody's situation is different, but if you're doing that, you're chasing a payment. You're obviously trying to get to a certain payment. You have to take a step back, look at, maybe I should put more money down and shorten the term. Maybe I'm on too much car. Sometimes if you're on a certain vehicle and it's a higher trim level, okay, do you really need all that? Because if you go down, if you take just this and this away, maybe that can save you $5,000, $6,000, $7,000. That can make a huge difference in a payment.
Sure.
So really look at the big picture, not just payment.
Yep, that's good advice. Because there's more when you're driving the vehicle every day. There's more things that matter.
Yeah, people that are looking at that term, they're not really negotiating like the overall price or their trading. They're target fixated for a payment, which is fine. But if you're already approaching that level, rethink all your steps here, and we'll help you do that.
Yep. So old topic, but kind of making its way back around now that AI has kind of got its foothold in everyone's whatever world you're in. in some way. AI is probably affecting it, or you're seeing it or using it in some way. So back to the no car dealership. So like I think Tesla is like that, and Rivian is like that, where it's a direct to consumer. Yeah. So I mean, do you think? I kind of know how you think it.
We're not going anywhere.
So let's talk about that a little bit, because AI is pretty great as far as
but
the responses you get. But give me some reasons on why you think that a salesperson, like you might still need a fit like an actual human being.
Because you need that interaction. I think the people that I see them all the time. Everybody's seen them in on message boards and everything like that. It's, you guys should all be replaced. You're all going to be replaced soon in 5 years, and it's going to be direct to consumer. Well, nobody wants that. Here's why. Here's why that's. I'm not going to say never going to be a thing, but I don't think in our generation, because you take, obviously, again, I work for Jeep, right? So you take the Jeep factory. They make, 5,000 Jeeps in a month.
Right.
Grand Cherokees. Okay, well, who's going to buy more of those? The onesies, twosies, that person that's ordering online from the factory, or a big dealer group that's going to order 4,000 of them, that's going to buy them.
Sure.
Because the dealers are the ones that buy them from the factory. Versus maybe 30 or 40 people a month buying it.
So you're kind of saying,
who's their biggest customer? We are.
So you're saying that it would, in theory, work for the manufacturers that don't yet have a dealer network, right?
Yeah.
Because they don't have that. That's not an object.
Well, Tesla wasn't. I mean, like when Tesla, their model is different. They're not a car company. They're a battery electric. Well, now rocket. It's
technology.
Empire. Yeah,
sure.
They're not a car. That was just a side thing, right? But it's dealers buy the car. The biggest customers for all the manufacturers are dealers. They buy all their cars. So that's why the dealers exist, right? And if I were to buy a Jeep from the plant, and then they deliver it to my house, and I have problems with it, where are you going to take it?
Right.
Yeah, you're going to take it to a dealer. Well, now here we are now. So if you're having problems with your Bluetooth, or if you want to know how to set your navigation, or how to do this, or how to operate all these functions in all these cars, you're going to go bang on the door of the factory and, say, hey, you're supposed to show me this. No, they're building cars. That's why you have a dealer. Yep. That's why you have that middleman to help you with all of that, and it really comes down to, it's like we said before, it's the perception of the salesperson. Yeah, there are a ton of bad apples out there. There's bad dealer groups, and, that they're really shady in their tactics and everything like that. They have an archaic way of selling cars, which is very outdated. Kunes is very progressive, which I like, but it's, if you have those bad apples, of course, but there's a lot of good dealers. There's a lot of good salespeople out there. They really want to give you their best experience, because that's how we earn more business. That's how we build our clientele. You don't do it by being shady and everything like that.
Right.
So you need that. Yeah, we're not going anywhere. You need it.
And I feel like it's the same. Like if you were like with anything that was very expensive that you were buying. So for example, if you were buying a new a fancy watch, right? Like or whatever, jewelry, like just something expensive like that. If I'm spending $10,000, $15,000 on something, whether it's a car or just something, I kind of want to see it first.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the one thing, like online works great for so many things. I'll be one of the first people to say I take advantage of online shopping as much as anybody can. But when it comes to like something you're spending like substantial money on, there's like, I feel like something psychologically about being able to at least see it first. And then like, we don't get to you don't get to go to Walmart and test drive whatever you're looking to buy, right? You want a curling iron. You don't get to test the curling iron out before you buy it. Right. And I guess we can put it this way, like think about this, like going into a Walmart or a Best Buy, right? If all you had was you saw the stuff, but there was no person there. So for example, when I walk into a store, I know nothing about anything at Best Buy. I need someone, I need earphones. I need like wireless headphones. Yeah. Like take me there. And also like, tell me which ones I need. Like I listen to music, but I really just want it for phone calls. Tell me which ones I need.
Well, yeah, because you want that interaction. And it's funny because for every Every one person, every one guy out there that's like, it should be direct to consumer. There's 10 other people that are like, no, like you said, I want to go into a place and I want to touch, feel, and drive these things. And if I have questions, I want to ask the guy that if he knows his product knowledge or her product knowledge, they can explain all that well.
So funny thing.
That's you nailed it. Like that's right on, spot on.
Funny thing though, I won't say every. Many manufacturers have had some type of quote unquote direct to consumer bypass the dealer program where you basically you could place your order. So for example, you're ordering a new Jeep. And again, I don't know if Jeep, I'm just using them as an example because he sells Jeeps mainly, but you go to order a new Jeep, you put in your order directly through Jeep. They'll say, okay, what store do you want me to send it to? Right. Like you basically you get the price directly through the manufacturer, all that stuff to where you bypass the dealer.
And you have a liaison.
Yep.
That goes over the car with you when you take delivery.
Right. I think it's just people try to get away from like the typical process. But my point is that manufacturers have had this, but nobody takes advantage of it. I think,
Well, think about it too. It's like
Kunes has had a shop click drive thing for a long time too, but people don't actually want that as much as they might not love.
When we actually do come out with it, they go, I don't want to do it because you want to go into the store.
You want to see it.
Not everybody does, right? Yes, does everybody know? But here's another thing. I want to buy a new Jeep from the factory. Or direct to consumer, right? I have a trade-in.
Right.
They don't want your trade-in. No factory. Right. So what do you do with that?
Yep, you're absolutely right about that.
And then what if you're, well, I'm upside down in my trade-in. Now the factory they don't deal with that.
Yeah, they probably
you want to sell the car to Carvana or whoever, yeah. But that's why you have a dealer, because it could say, hey, well, let's make this scenario make sense. That's what we're there for. It's just like I said, for every one person that's out there that thinks that we're all going to be obsolete. It's funny because 10 years ago they said that we're going to be obsolete, and 20 years ago they said we were going to be obsolete, and
now AI's here. Now they're talking about it again.
Yeah, but all that's going to do. That's not going to replace us. That's going to aid in making the whole sales process easier. Sure. I mean, it's actually going to help the salesperson be more efficient in how they talk to a customer, which will make the whole process more enjoyable, more fun. Because it's just the selling a car, buying a car is very easy. It truly is. I'm gonna get a flame for this, right? But it is, and it's a lot of times. Sometimes it's the customers that make it difficult because they come in with that preconceived notion that they're out to get us, and we're not. Like,
no.
If you come in with a great attitude and all that, we're salespeople are going to be more amped to want to help you more and go above and beyond.
Fair enough, but
because you want us to treat you well, it works both ways.
If I was just going to sit in a chair opposite from you and argue with you, I would say that as a consumer, but I've dealt with so many crappy salespeople,
and it's true.
You know what I'm saying. So I think
so. It's hard to.
I think that's something.
It's rewarding to overcome that. Then they go, man, you're pretty cool. It's like
I'm just saying on the consumer, and I feel like there's so many. I hate to say it, but there's so many bad salespeople.
Not with Kunes though.
I do think that if you don't have good intentions, you're probably not going to want to work here anyway. So I mean that kind of helps, but no, just in general, just the nature of it. It's one of the car business in general is one of the few sales fields that you can go into, get a job without having experience,
degree or
sure, without having a formal degree. You just really I'm sure at a lot of dealerships you get a job selling cars without a high school diploma. If you talked yourself into it, I'm sure you could probably do it.
You're just selling yourself.
Yeah. But when you have that kind of optimism as an industry, right, where I can take anybody and with a little direction, they'll be able to sell cars.
Just mold them.
Yeah. When you have that optimism, you're gonna get your fair share of people with bad intentions or whatever the case. So I never held it against a customer when they came in with that. You're absolutely right. It was one of the most rewarding car sales was the one where you had that person that came in like that and then they left there thinking, wow, I never thought it would have been like this.
Yeah, I never look at it as a problem. Like if I encounter a customer like that, I look at it as you should look at it as more of an opportunity to overcome that and change the perception.
Yeah,
you know?
and now more than ever, salespeople have to work for that repeat and referral business because loyalty, just throughout industries, has gone down. Loyalty to price has become people's number one loyalty.
Yep.
Which leads you into my next thing. Brand loyalty is down across many manufacturers right now. Brand loyalty is down. So I wanted to ask you because I never sold Toyotas, like mainly, like I never sat at a Toyota store. I know you sold Toyotas for a long time. I was always under the assumption that someone came in and said, oh, there's my Corolla. I've had it for 8 years, 3 years, whatever. It's been great. I want another one. Not sure if I want a different color or not. I kind of, and not specifically like that, but I just kind of assumed like there wasn't much as far as when I was at at Chevy stores. I was very used to having someone say, I'm looking at the F-150, I'm looking at the Ram, and I'm looking at the Silverado. Tell me why yours is the best.
They were on their 8th Silverado, and it was just easy. Yeah. I think it's just because there's more options out there now. I don't think it's people are jumping ship because, or, there's a lot of variables. It could be where maybe the brand over the years with that customer, maybe they don't like the newer versions that are out now. So now they start looking elsewhere. It's like with Chevy, you mentioned Chevy, right? Well, the guy that's always had his Silverado, eventually they're going to, they see other trucks, it's all in the marketing because now it's not just the newspaper now. So,
right. Yeah, that's a good point.
You go on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok, you're seeing all the manufacturers on there that's where everybody lives now. Right. So now the guy that always had Silverados, and now he's looking at the new Ram, or he's looking at a new F-150 or a new GMC Sierra. So now it's going to go, what do they have to offer? And especially now with, everybody has, like I said before, everybody has the same safety features and all that, but now it's the infotainment. What do they offer as far as, interface with phones and music and all that? So, and like even AI is you're going to start seeing AI become more prevalent in these cars. And everybody wants to be the first with it. So that's where I think people are kind of going to different brands because they're just trying them out. And I've had a lot of people that came to me that were loyal Ford people, like a loyal guy that always had F-150s, and he's in a new Ram. And now he's on his 4th Ram, You know
what's interesting, though? Like, as far as, like, okay, so step out of the automotive industry, I feel like I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I feel like brand loyalty isn't down, like, across industries like that. I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong about that, but I don't think I am. Is it possible that maybe it's just like collectively we've talked about in the past about how like car prices have gotten kind of crazy. Also, how the amount of stuff you can get in cars is also crazy now. Is it safe to say that maybe like the first manufacturer to come out with like a budget line or like really dedicated to like value for the dollar, maybe there's like a big opportunity there to like gain market loyalty?
It is. It's tough now too because auto manufacturers now are so scrutinized by the public.
For sure.
Let's say, like you mentioned, I think it'd be awesome for that for some company or even an existing company, like let's say Chevy. They come out with like they have the Trax, right, which is your mid-20,000s car. Well, give me the 3 or 4 models like that. Generally speaking, those aren't going to be as heavily contented as like the big brothers and sisters, like Traverses and Acadias and all that. So then they're going to say, okay, we built this. It's a sub 30 grand, and here you go. But then what does everybody say? Oh, it doesn't have this. It doesn't have this. Okay, well,
sure, yeah,
you can't build everything,
Oh yeah, so you're always going to have the keyboard warriors that are not unhappy.
Why is it so cheap? Well, it doesn't have this and this and this. It's like, well, you can't please everybody in this world, but I think manufacturers are trying. Like the Trax, I think it'd be cool if it was all-wheel drive. But now that bumps the price point.
Yeah, that is a good one. Which at that point, if you want to pay the extra $3-4 grand, the Trailblazer's right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out to the Trax. I do think they really they really nailed it as far as for 20
awesome
the amount of options you get for options and warranty you get for a brand new vehicle. Yeah, you're right. If you can make front wheel drive work, which let's be real, most of us can. That's a good one. So all right, I did have a couple. I want to do a rapid fire type segment where I want to ask you. So these are questions that people have asked multiple times. So commonly asked questions, like about car sales. So I'm just gonna get right into it.
It's like revealing everything now.
I mean, as much as you want
All
to.
of our dark secrets.
Well, here's the thing. well, we'll get into it. Some people some people might think
Yeah.
it's dark, but they just don't maybe know what's going on. But anyway,
It's spicy.
right. So what are you guys actually doing when you go talk to the manager? I'm assuming they're talking like when you're like buying a car and the salesperson says, let me go talk to my manager or whatever. I think that's what they're referring to by that. So, I mean, what are you actually doing when you say I have to go talk to my manager?
Talking about lunch.
Lunch.
No, it's you're for the most part it's so when they said we have to go talk to our manager, we actually do have to talk to the manager that's running the numbers. So it's not, we're not just going up there and waiting, and we're going up there because we're communicating with what the customer is saying. We go out there with the numbers initially and say, here's where you're at, here's your price, here's your trade, here's your payments and all that. And there's going to be an objection. There
Right.
always is. I've never had it where someone goes, man, you guys nailed it. I'll sign right here.
Right.
Maybe 5 times in 18 years of me doing that, I've had that happen, right? But
People want to tweak it. Maybe they want to put more money down, less money
or
down.
those,
something.
the trade's too low or something like that. So you go back to the sales manager and you're taking their objection. You try to overcome it.
Because if I say I want $100 off, are you able to say yes or no?
So you can. I mean, I'll always present, like if they give me an offer, hey, could you give me a little bit more for my trade? Or, could you do this on my trade? Could you throw in floor mats? Could you, get 72 months versus 60? And I'll say, and it's all, I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole of sales training 101, but, you'll say, okay, well, if I could do that, would you do it right now? I know that sounds like a kind of a cliche question, but that's really true.
But
because
if you're going to go beat your manager up over $100 floor mats, you want to make sure that we're getting somewhere.
Because in a lot of times too, it's like, look, you came in, especially now, it's like 12 degrees outside. You came in, you're not just looking. You want to buy a car, so just tell us that. It's just that's what makes the whole process easier. If you come in and say, hey, look, I'm looking. If I can find something that makes sense, we'll do it today. And I'll even ask them that. When they first sit down, what are you looking to accomplish today? I'm looking to drive home in a new car. Perfect. Or if they say, I'm just looking. Okay, and I'll ask, well, why? Or I'll say, well, what's the next step after that? So when you go up to the sales manager, you'll bring the objections. Okay, here's where they're at. Here's where they want to be.
Right.
And they'll ask us, if I can do that, would they do it?
Exposing all the secrets. If you want a great deal on a car, all you have to do is walk in and say, I'd like a great deal in a car, and I'd like to buy it today, please.
That's all you have to do to
exposing
make the process,
all the secrets. Heard it from
to make
Sandy
the
here
process
first.
simple. You just be like, hey, look, this is what I'm looking to accomplish.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right.
If we can get it to make sense, let's do it. And if not, well, then we'll still try. We'll still try to get creative.
Yep.
That's our job.
All right. Next question: do you judge a customer by their shoes or clothes?
You should not.
I asked if you did. I didn't ask if you should or shouldn't.
Sometimes I do.
It's hard to. It's human nature, right?
Sometimes
I mean, it's hard. It's hard not to. In some scenarios,
we've all, everybody's, I'm sure a lot of salespeople out there, they can tell you stories about, that, but I had an instance years and years and years ago where the guy, it was a weekday morning. It was in the summer. Guy came in, he's probably in his 50s. He had a Hawaiian shirt, shorts, flip-flops. It was at Toyota. Okay. The only reason I'm bringing this up is because what he was looking at. So nobody was really, he didn't look raggedy or nothing. Just looked like a normal guy, right? He was just walking around the show floor. And nobody was upping him. Upping means if you go to greet a customer.
Up is short for opportunity.
Yes. So I went to go talk to him. In a very long story short, the guy owned a very successful business, and he wanted to buy a new Land Cruiser, cash. And back in the mid 2000s, someone coming in on a $90,000 Land Cruiser was like a big deal because we only sold like one of those a year. Because Toyota buyers are Corollas or RAV4s, but 90 grand, that's like, it's very foreign to a Toyota buyer. Yep. Not now, it's a lot different now. But so the guy was like, yeah, it's like, you guys have I said, we have one, you have a black one. Because we typically would only have one or maybe two on the lot at any given point. And he cut a check for it right there. So nobody
asked me if he wanted to buy one.
The guy wasn't in a suit and said, sure, hey, I own this company. And he was just the most laid back guy. He owned,
that's cool.
He made, yeah.
Can we give a shout out to Johnny Hellcat?
Johnny Hellcat,
walking through in
one
his
of my best customers.
In his onesie.
Yeah, he owns his own metal finishing company, and he'll always roll in his overalls, and no one would think that he has a Ferrari and a bunch of almost the full Hellcat SRT line of Dodge. He's the biggest Mopar guy I've seen. So
yep.
Yeah, he's an awesome customer.
But yeah, it's one of those things that you never judge a book by its cover.
Never.
It is hard, but I'm glad that you brought it up. That sometimes you do, because it's human nature. You probably will. Important to step back and say, "Hey, this is a person. They're here. How can I help them?" Right?
Yeah.
All right. Is it true that cash deals are actually bad for the dealer?
Yes and no. I mean,
You want to sell the car, right?
the finance guys, they don't like that because you don't generally make any profit on that because you don't have the opportunity to sell. Well, you do, but generally that customer doesn't buy like extended warranties and everything that you're molding into a payment.
In general, people have a harder time paying an extra couple $1,000s at once for an extended warranty than they would maybe paying $20
and generally,
a month.
for a salesperson, you may not see that person again. But as I said before, those people that typically pay cash every 3 to 4 years for a car. And what I said before, what do you do?
And they typically have more than one car.
Convert them to a lease.
Yeah, and they have more than one vehicle in the household typically.
So, yeah.
So, no, we don't care. We just want to sell a car.
We'll take your money either way.
Should I hide my trade-in until the very end to get a better deal?
No, it just makes the process that much longer.
Yeah, and if I can
just make it simple.
Yeah, if I can interject and answer that one, don't do that. Don't do that because you're going to alienate your salesperson because we have a process. As a salesperson, there's a process as far as paperwork, stuff that we have to do throughout to have stuff lined up. And so essentially, if we get to step 18 of 20 and you say, "Oh, actually, you know what? I want this trade." That's going to be frustrating because I'm going to have to go back and redo 6 or 7 things that I already did.
It's not so much frustrating. It's we'll do it. We're going to accommodate our customers.
We're going to do it,
but
I'm going to let you know I would be frustrated.
Yeah.
Your salesperson will most likely be. I'm speaking for your whatever salesperson you're dealing with. They're going to be frustrated. I'd like to meet the salesperson that doesn't get frustrated with that.
Well, yeah, I'll put a caveat. I'll put a caveat on that.
Sure.
So, like, let's say I've had this happen all the time where customers will we'll negotiate a deal or whatever, and they'll go, maybe we're fighting for more down payment money, right? And they'll bring up, well, we have this car. It's kind of like a beater with a heater that we don't really use or whatever. And I'm like, what is it? And typically it's like somewhere between $1,000 and a $3,000 car.
Yeah, that's a little different.
Then it's different. But I have had people where they go, you can tell like feel like they busted out that card like,
sure,
I got to trade in
and
now.
I have a trade in.
And a lot of times I'll just react, okay.
And again, it's fine, but also.
It's not that we're like frustrated because, we're trying to pull one over on you and manipulating numbers and all that. It's just more we're frustrated. In fact, it's like
no, it's just what happened.
Now it's just okay. I know you've been here for an hour and a half. Now you've just extended it an hour because generally, now we're gonna praise your trade. We're gonna do all that, and then you're gonna want now we have to negotiate the trade, and that's fine. We're gonna do whatever, but we can make the deal for customers out there that are frustrated with buying cars. This is where like you look at find a salesperson that you want to work with, find somebody that right, and we can make the deal. As I've had customers that were out within an hour. I've had customers where it took 6 hours. Right, it's really dependent upon them. Look, we know you're not gonna just say yes right away to our numbers. I get it, but kind of have a plan in place when you come in, and also like. Tell the salesperson what you're looking to accomplish. A lot of times people will
what's
say,
your goal of the visit?
I'll say, hey, if I can get, and sometimes I'll ask, like, so if the numbers made sense, you're going to do it today, and you'll see the customer go, oh, I don't know. It's like right there, you've already extended the time now. It's like, well, I can make this very easy for you.
Yeah, again, going back to him revealing all the secrets. If you come in and say, hey, this is exactly what I want. Can we make this happen nice and easy? Most likely your salesperson will do whatever he can to make your experience.
There are customers like that. I have a customer today, a strong repeat customer of Kunes, and it was like the simplest thing. He said yes so fast. I actually said to him, I go, huh? Because he was like, okay, do this and we have a deal. And I said to Ryan, he's like, yeah, we're done. I called him. I go, yeah, we can do that. He goes, okay, I'll be in tomorrow at 10. I was like, what? It's like, not everybody's like that, right? But just
no, he probably did enough research already where he knew what deal he needed.
We want to make it fun. We want to make it enjoyable because we want you to come back. Just tell us what your goals are. And that way we can help you get to the finish line faster.
Yeah, and if you want to come in and hang out for the afternoon, you can go to any car dealership, come and hang out for the afternoon. But let's sit around and drink coffee and talk about something, not do paperwork that we already did.
Yeah.
All right. Do.
You got like a little list of stuff you're gonna talk about, huh?
Well, okay, so I see different comments and stuff, and then if I don't put them down, I can never remember them off the top of my head. So yeah, I bought a 6.4 liter Ram 2500 crew cab, and I'm mad I'm only getting about 14 to 15 miles a gallon.
Yeah.
That's a comment. What do you have to say? What do you have to say for yourself as a Ram representative?
It's a heavy duty truck. It's not built for fuel economy.
Sounds about right. Sounds about right.
It's
they're not because they don't
rate them.
Yeah, they don't rate them, right? Like
No.
if you on a window sticker for a heavy duty, there's no.
Well, there's a lot of variables. Like because if I take a brand new 3/4 ton Hemi on the freeway right now,
yeah,
I'm gonna get 18 out of it, 17, 18 easily. Doing probably speed limit 70. If I'm doing like 72 to 75, I'm gonna get that.
That's not bad.
Here's a lot of variables with that comment. Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
What's in the truck? Do you have 5 people in the truck?
Yeah, it just says
Do you have-
6.4 Ram.
Do you have stuff in the bed? Are you towing anything? There's a lot of things that they'll say, well, I don't like it because it has this. Okay, well, tell me more. Why are you getting 14?
Yeah, maybe the year. If you have a 2015
No, it's
6.4.
what's in the truck? Does he have a toolbox in the back that's 1,000 pounds?
Sure, you have a trailer on. So not enough to go off of, but
No.
at the end of the day, nothing.
Give me more data.
There's nothing alarming though if you're getting 14 to 15 miles a gallon.
But it's like, give me more data so I could say, well, this is why,
But right off the bat, you as the car doctor would say probably no cause for alarm on that one. I tried to trade in a SUV I bought in 2022. You guys offered me $15,000 less than I paid. Dealerships are thieves.
We're not thieves. 15,000.
I'm just reading
the
comment.
15,000 less than you paid. So,
yep.
Vehicles
Bought in 22. You guys offered me 15 less than I paid.
Yeah. Vehicles do depreciate.
Sure.
There are a few vehicles out there that appreciate, like some exotics, right? But that's a different story. But vehicles do depreciate. There's another thing. Where's the data on that? So, how many miles do you have in your car? Are you someone that drives 10,000 miles a year and you only have 30,000 miles on it now? Or are you somebody like me who drives 21,000 miles a year and you have close to 70,000 miles on that car? That's going to affect how much your vehicle depreciated over time. And it's always not just what the dealer is saying what it's worth. It's what the market dictates. Yep. What your vehicle was worth, 3 years ago is of
almost
course,
4 years ago.
Almost 4 years ago is quite different than it's going to be worth now because you have more miles on it. On paper, it's another year older, and market values do change daily on cars.
It's actually daily. If you think about it, it's not too bad.
We can't predict it. We don't know.
What do you think?
Can make our best guess, but we don't know.
Residual values on like 36-month leases are anywhere in like 50s, 60s.
Yeah.
Ultra high would be 70s. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
So realistically, if over 3 years, if you lost 15,000. Now, one key piece of information, we never get all the pieces of information in the comments, as you can imagine.
Never.
They didn't say how much they paid for it, which would help judge how much of a loss $15,000
Here's a small little
is.
detail. What's the current price of gas? That affects it.
Yeah.
I remember what was it, back in 2009, 2010, when gas was $4 a gallon?
Oh, sure.
And remember, if you had a pickup, it was worth
right.
$10,000.
Right.
And now it's where that same truck's worth $25,000. Like there's a lot of variables. It's not what the dealer is saying that's what it's worth. It's what's going on in the world that dictates what your car's worth.
For example, if I sell you a Silverado right now, well, if you pick 100 Silverados online from 100 different dealers, most likely their price is going to be within 1,000. I mean, like they're going to be very close. They're going to be very close to selling for the same amount.
You let people that say, well, as soon as I drive off the lot, every car does that.
Yeah.
So if you're that concerned about losing so much value, buy a pre-owned one.
Or lease.
We
should stop talking about leasing. Do you think people don't
when you lease, you're literally just paying for the depreciation part of the car. That's all you're paying for.
Yeah, but at least you get to plan it. At least you know what the. At least.
But if you're that concerned about losing value, buy one that's 2 years old.
Well, and I've heard the argument, well, I'm not going to pay just the depreciation. It's like, well, if you want to feel good about it, it's what the bank thinks the depreciation is going to be. In a lot of scenarios, the banks are being optimistic in efforts of
and at the
getting
end of the
that
lease,
loan.
if it's worth nothing, you just turn it in.
Most of the time, it's worth less than what they thought it was going to be worth.
But then you turn it in, and they're taking the hit. You don't take the hit.
I brought my dad in to help negotiate, and the salesman was rude just because my dad offered $10,000 under sticker.
Well, you got to be realistic. Cars aren't the markup in cars and trucks is not what they were back in the 90s. You know, the margin is much less. You know, the average margin of profit on a vehicle is like 1 to 3%. It truly is. And people think it's like 10-15%, which is wildly crazy.
Right.
It's
so
just not.
Since we're revealing all the secrets this episode, like we brought up the Chevy Trax, for example, like a $25,000 vehicle. The difference between MSRP and invoice, and whether people want to believe this or not, but the difference between MSRP and invoice on something like that, we're talking in the hundreds of dollars.
Yeah, like the Renegade.
Yes, we're talking hundreds of dollars.
$623 a markup in back when a Renegade 4-wheel drive Latitude.
Oh, it's perfect. A car that we technically don't even sell anymore.
Yeah, the markup was $623.
So, but I think people think that dealers are making you're selling a $25,000 car, you've got to be making $5,000. No,
I'd be wearing nicer shoes if that was the case.
Yeah, we would have both been gone by now. We'd be retired.
Our name would be on the building.
Yeah, right. But no, it's just. People don't think about that. So
because that's the culture that people are ingrained in. It's like,
yep.
You're gonna make $10,000 on us. No, we're not.
What do you think? Should we finish up with our rapid fire segment?
Yeah.
So this is called This or That.
Ooh.
There's that one trend song, This or That. So I'm gonna give you 2 vehicle options. Okay. They're all gonna be. I'm gonna give you the category, and then I'm gonna give you the make model.
So we need a buzzer in here.
We should work on that. So for example, the first one's gonna be JDM Legends. So I'm gonna give you 2 JDM Legends. That's Japanese domestic motors for those of you listening at home. So basically a Japanese import vehicle, and I'm going to give you 2 options, and you're going to pick what you like.
Okay.
Are you ready? So we're going to go all over the place from JDM Legends all the way to heavy-duty haulers and Rally Kings. We got it all here at Kunes Rapid Fire, our closing segment. Is this episode 8?
Yes. Wait, I think so.
Episode 8. Maybe not. It might be 7. It might be 9. We're pretty close, though. All right. Let me know when you're ready.
Go ahead. I'm just responding to a text from a customer.
Finish it up.
You're good? Or go ahead.
I was gonna say we're recording this. It probably won't hit till after Christmas. I don't know because we post on Wednesdays. I don't know, and I think
Christmas.
Oh, it's Christmas Eve. That's Christmas Eve. So yeah. If you're watching this before Christmas, Merry Christmas to everyone.
Happy holidays.
If you don't celebrate Christmas, I hope you are having a fantastic time.
However you celebrate, go have fun.
Yep. However you're gonna celebrate, have fun. If you have family, hang out with your family. Rapid fire segment. Sandy, we're going to get to know a lot about you by the decisions that you make in the next 60 seconds.
A lot of people don't want to know about the decisions I make.
JDM Legends, and I purposely left out Toyotas.
That's not fair.
Honda S2000 or Mazda RX-8?
Oh, S2000.
Ford Mustang GT or Camaro SS?
Camaro SS.
Raptor R or TRX?
TRX.
Subaru WRX STI or the Lancer Evolution?
Ooh. I'm going to go with an Evo.
Evo, that's a good choice. I'm a Subaru person myself.
We know.
Rubicon 392 or Ford Bronco Raptor?
392.
Really? Shocker. Yeah. Honda, so hot hatches. Honda Civic Type R or the Toyota GR Corolla?
GR Corolla.
It is
by far.
I couldn't not put that one on there because I do think that is a cool car as well.
Team Toyota.
Luxury sports sedans. Are you taking the CT4V Blackwing manual transmission?
Ooh.
Because they have a manual transmission, or the BMW M3 Comp.
Oh, M3 Comp.
Yeah, I figured as much.
Yeah.
I think I know which one you're taking on this one. It's the Chevy Colorado ZR2 Bison Edition. Super cool. I don't know if you've ever seen a Bison Edition. Or little Toyota Tacoma TRD Pro Hybrid.
Tacoma.
You're taking the hybrid Tacoma.
I'll take a Tacoma all day.
You're taking the hybrid Tacoma over the Chevy Colorado ZR2 Bison. Is
because
that correct?
They call it a Bison.
Final answer. You can still change your answer.
Fun fact, hey, they just announced that they're bringing back the Dakota. So.
Oh, really? Is it going to be electric?
I don't know what it's going to be yet. It's not going to be electric, but yeah, they're bringing that nameplate back. But go on.
And last
Bison,
but absolute
please.
not least, I purposely left out the Ram because I feel like you would always pick a Ram for your heavy hauler. But if you were in a situation where you were picking between a Ford F-250 Platinum or a GMC Sierra 2500 Denali Ultimate, both diesels, which one are you taking?
Denali Ultimate. That's a beautiful truck.
I do love the Denali Ultimates, but I'll tell you what, every time we sold Rams together, I started selling GMs, so I've got to experience both of them a lot. Something about those Ford trucks, I mean, they are they're nice, especially when you're talking about like the Platinums.
My ick with Ford, it's always been the outside of their cars are always they're aggressive, they're cool, the colors and everything. Their interiors are just, there's too much plastic in them.
Okay, you know it's funny you say
You're
that.
spending $100K on a Platinum or a Lariat truck, and you get in and it's all the panels are plastic.
Okay, so maybe it's
Dress
spec.
it up.
Maybe it's spec.
No,
because when I saw the F-250 Platinum, I thought back to an F-150 Platinum that I have some time with, where it was pearl white with the it was like a blue, like a dark, like an old school Lincoln blue leather interior, and it had the nice headliner and like.
Well, and you left Ram out because they have the best interiors.
Ram,
They do.
I do.
That's not
think,
even mean biased. Like there's
I do think
the best.
You cannot say that's not you being biased because you're biased by nature.
Yeah, I've had Ford
Rams
people that are like the Rams has a better interior.
I do think they have the best interior.
That's where you spend all your time. You spend 70% of your time in your car. So let's make that the most plush and luxurious. You know, I'm telling you.
You're not wrong about that. Can I go back and roast you? There was one where I'm like, what? Did you pick the Mustang or the Camaro?
The Camaro.
Yeah, you pick a Camaro?
All day.
Really?
It's a way better looking car. Give me like an 02 SS. That's a sweet car.
Okay, you know what? I wasn't specific, but I also wasn't thinking about like that generation. For sure, I would take an early 2000s Camaro over a Mustang.
I was never a big Mustang guy.
On the late model stuff, I just thought the Mustangs were all. I mean, they're just really good looking cars. Whenever they went to that, like whatever the current body style is, whatever you call that.
Well, like the early 2000s, like the Cobras and all that, like the 04,
the Terminator,
05, those were kind of cool.
Yeah, Terminator was one of my
but they're
all-time
just
favorites.
Mustangs are all sound and no go.
Also, I feel like the Terminator wasn't like you can't really. I don't classify that with the Mustangs. No. I feel like the Terminator is its own.
It's kind of like a one-off.
It's like a WS6 Trans Am.
Yeah,
I feel like they're like it's their own. Yep, other cool car. But anyway, I'm not sure if the camera is still recording or not. But you're probably listening to us. You might be seeing us. But anyway, we hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your year.
Yes.
Sandy, do you have one New Year's resolution that you, if you could, would make for the automotive industry? For example, like the manufacturers. If you were able to place New Year's resolution for them, like say, hey, Toyota, this is your whatever, just a New Year's resolution for a car manufacturer.
Give me produce a crossover that has a max price point of $25,000. It can be done. It can literally be done.
Each manufacturer should offer that.
Yeah.
Right? Like, doesn't matter if you love Chevy.
The masses,
or
I'm not saying Mercedes or Audi, but yeah, like everybody. Yeah.
You know,
you can do it.
Let's be real. Even, so for example, like Mercedes, I mean, they could do it. It doesn't have to be luxury. The problem is that's not their brand identity, right? But the manufacturers could do it. I think the manufacturers would be surprised if they actually put something out with less. How well it'd be received.
No, you could put a well-equipped car for that. You can. You can.
Humans adapt really fast.
Yeah, I've been around this enough to where you can.
Loyalty to the dollar is the most loyal thing right now. Yeah. So, but anywho, hope you guys have a great year. We'll see you next time.
See ya.